Now available on Blu-ray from Severin Films comes a movie that was never really, to my understanding, available in America until now. This is An Angel for Satan. This is a mid-60s black and white Gothic Italian horror film starring Barbara Steele, queen of the Gothic Italian horror film. And the basic tale is an artist is sent to this remote sort of island place to restore a statue that's been found. Apparently the waters in a lake have receded or something like that, and they found this statue, and he is sent to bring it back to its former glory. The statue was involved in a death decades or perhaps hundreds of years before and has sort of a sketchy history. Barbara Steele is the daughter of the man who is having the statue restored. She returns home from being far away. She bears a striking resemblance to the woman, the visage of the statue, and over time starts taking on seemingly the traits of the woman the statue was based on. And those traits aren't good, by the way. She's taking on, it's just ugliness. She's taking on ugliness. She's not getting ugly because she's Barbara Steele, but she's taking on ugly traits. I really, really like this a lot. This movie was gorgeous. It was beautiful, crisp, black and white. It's lush, real locations. It's what you love, if you love these things, about the early Hammer movies or a lot of Barbara Steele's work, like Nightmare Castle and Terror Creatures from the Grave and Black Sunday and all the things she did back then. And she is phenomenal in this because she goes from this sort of happy-go-lucky person to this just really nasty, not to use a political phrase of recent years, a nasty woman who basically just uses everybody around her and just lures everybody in with her feminine wiles and just turns everything corrupt and evil. It's wonderfully nasty. It's what I refer to as a very quiet movie. Oh, by the way, you can watch this in the original Italian with English subtitles or in English dubbed. It's one of those movies that I always say is great to watch, or in my mind would be perfect to watch late at night with all the lights off and nobody else in the house, because it's one of those very sort of still, quiet films. In no way boring. It just has that late night vibe, that almost dreamy vibe, the kind of thing that when me and people older than me were kids, you would stay up late, and maybe this is why I say this, you would stay up late to watch films on TV that were weird because they would always air them in the wee hours because they would buy these film packages and they would have to play certain movies, but they didn't want to play some movie about a guy with three heads at 8 o'clock. You want to play that in the middle of the night when fewer people are watching and the ratings don't matter as much. So I remember staying up late to watch stuff like this, and this movie would have been ideal. But according to the there's a commentary, two commentaries. There's a commentary with Barbara Steele and David Del Valle, who's a film historian and friend of hers, and he says, he had never seen this movie until very recently. There might have been a bootleg, but it was bad quality, or it was just in Italian or another language or something. The transfer on this is perfect. Beautiful, razor sharp, black and white. The commentaries are great. It's Barbara Steele, a little feisty, but it's her going on and on in the best way possible about working in Italy in the 60s and the people she knew and the experience of doing this film. And the commentary is not limited to just talking about this movie. They talk about as much as possible about this movie, as much as she knows and remembers, but they also go into all these other directions that if you're a fan of Barbara Steele or 60s cinema or 60s in general, is fascinating. She talks a little bit about working with Cronenberg on Shivers. She talks about working with Bava. She talks about all kinds of stuff. And Del Valle is a hoot and wonderful prompter, shall we say, host, moderator, asking her questions to keep it going. That one's great. And then you get a Kat Ellenger commentary, which is fantastic. I always say Kat Ellenger is like the Dick Miller of audio commentaries. Her presence makes the release better. She does a full-length commentary that talks about more of the themes of the film. Plenty, as with anything she does, it's more than just facts about the movie. It's a lot of analysis. It's a lot of comparison to other films in the genre and the themes in the genre and where the roots of some of the elements in the film come from. And that's excellent. And then there's an interview with the actor who played the school teacher in the film, which is great. It's always really cool to me when a film this old First of all, it's nice that it has surviving cast members, but it's nice when they can sit down and talk about primarily their experiences on the movie, but oftentimes you'll get a little bit of a life and career retrospective too, which is the kind of thing with, for what you would consider a bit player in an obscure Italian horror movie from the 60s, it's kind of a gift. So, An Angel for Satan, out now from Severin Films. I very highly recommend this. This is one that I'm probably going to buy for some friends and just give to them for Christmas or whatever, or birthdays, because it's going to be way under most people's radar. But if you like the kind of movies Barbara Steele makes, this is, dare I say, kind of like a lost classic. It's really solid and really fun.